Hey, yo! So for most of you, and probably everyone that's looking at Chiori right now, we have seen a very big switch up within her leaks, as well as the incredible change of her as a character. I want to talk about literally everything that Chiori does and what she has to offer. Before all of that though, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, or maybe even comment anything on this video. If you guys need help with anything, or maybe even questions about this video, I will try to help you as fast as I can, and that's the only thing I really do. Otherwise, myself, I'm just bad at the game. I mean, if you want to check my account, I'll show you it, alright? Level 60 every... So, to start everything off in this video, I just want to particularly point out the common things about Chiori and what she is as a character. Chiori herself is a dual-wielding Geo character, which does upset some people because she is Geo, but her style and gameplay is actually really cool. And it's something that is actually very weird to people because they do negotiate whether they want a Geo character that's dual-wielding or they just want it because of her beauty. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, she looks like Kazuha. I can't negate that, alright? I want that. But seriously, I now want to talk about the main components of what she does and what she really can do. This chart particularly has everything to do with her, and I'm gonna basically simplify everything here, and I'm just gonna talk about her as a whole. To start off in this big massive chart, what her skill does is make her lunge forward doing some dance movement, which after that she summons a puppet that does off-field geo damage. This skill also makes her jump, but everything that I just said there makes it happen all at once. What I also found very interesting about this skill is that you can change characters while mid-air. Now, after she summons a puppet, what it does is do off-field geo damage that scales off her defense and attack. She'll also be able to summon another one if you do geo damage with another on-field geo character. This is something very similar and unique to some character that I know, and it is basing off Albedo, which both of them are really good off-field characters, but I feel like Chiori is just a better version. Instead of Albedo summoning one flower on the ground, you can make Chiori summon two of them. Obviously, it's a puppet. I mean, I'm not talking about a freaking flower. The flower is good too, okay? I really want to add on to her puppet. She does off-field damage every 3.6 seconds for 17 seconds. This is guessed to be a 15-second cooldown, but I do think this might change. Now moving on to her ult, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have seen her do this, but what this does is take a piece of cloth and then cut it in half, which does a massive ton of damage, scaling off her attack and defense. I did say at some point that this is really similar to Raiden's ult, but I do think this one is just more unique. This is also estimated to be 15 seconds, but I do believe this is right. Now moving on to her talents, what this talks about is basically how you can switch characters mid-air after using her slash, which coordinates towards her puppet doing more damage if you plunge right after that. You cannot switch to any character you want, but it does switch to the character right beside it. Her puppet will eventually do as much damage as she did with her final slash. This is something very cool, but there's just a lot of information within this skill that it just bunches everything up together. This next talent I'm about to move into just explains every single change that has happened since the last video and what this makes her differently. When a Geo character creates a Geo construct, Chiori's Geo damage will be buffed by 20% for 20 seconds. Why I think this is a very big change? Because that talent itself used to say everything about crystallized buffing, and what it just meant a lot for Navia. This also has the pre-farm materials for her, so if you guys want to farm everything here, you can do so, and I will just list this up right now. Furthermore, on top of that, her Ascension is crit rate rather than crit damage, which is also a change to that, and then her signature weapon is a crit damage. Both of those stats have been reversed, and what the passive for the weapon does is give her 20% defense, as well as 16% more damage on field, and then off field gives her 48%. Whenever she plays the role as on field, she will gain a 16% damage bonus to her normal, charged, and plunging attack. Then whenever you're playing her off field, you will gain a 24% elemental damage bonus. Those stats alone are actually really good already, but what this also does is double the effects of both of those percentages if you are using a Geo character. I just think that if you are trying to build a mono Geo team, this is a really good character for it, and it's not really a must pull, but it is something that you have a choice with. I just think everything that is said on here is a very good complement to a mono Geo team, and an addition of a really nice version of Albedo. Now, if we were to talk about her constellations here, what her C1 does is give her the ability to spawn an extra puppet. That is already a really good constellation itself because all of them can proc at the same time for off-field damage, and that's also really good for Geo Construct. Her second constellation allows her to spawn extra puppets after you switch your character mid-air and then do like a plunging attack. That one puppet alone can scale up to 170% of all the puppets surrounding it with just one hit. You can spawn up to 3 of them, which, like I said again, you could spawn ones doing a plunging attack, normal attack, and charging attack. I've also just realized that she really likes dolls. Okay, I'm afraid of those. How do you like them? I mean, look at them. They can do a bunch of damage. But seriously, moving on to her C4, what this does is give her the ability to spawn extra puppets every 3 seconds after using her ult. This can spawn up to 3 puppets, which means you can have a whole audience of puppets literally around your enemy, which I have no idea how that makes sense, okay? Now her C6, this one is not really needed. I think it's the most useless out of all of them, but there's one thing in there that just surprises me, and it reduces your original skill by 14.5 seconds. Imagine, I mean, it literally says that her skill is 15 seconds guessed, and it might be lower, which means that this will probably make her activate her skill at all means. I don't know how that will work, but eventually it will, and I'm just gonna trust that factor. Finally, just to talk about Chiori here for a little bit, the reason why I said like Albedo for a bunch of times in this video is because she is basically similar and just a better version of him. Albedo spawns in 1 flower, while Chiori can spawn up to 2 and maybe even C1 up to 3. Her puppet as well can just scale off attack and defense rather than just the flower defense. And I think that's just a big L for Albedo here because this is just a very good similar acquaintance. Oh yeah, by the way, one last thing I forgot to add in this video is some team comps that they can use with her, but I'm only going to show this part for just a little bit here so you guys can just get a quick understanding for some teams, and she is sometimes very versatile in some of them, so that's why I recommend her. I mean, in this right here, it just replaces Albedo anyway. So, hey, if you guys are going for Albedo, I just recommend Chiori anyways, rather than him. For the Genshin community, though, I think she is pretty disappointing for the community. I mean, a lot of people won't probably be rolling for this character. I mean, she is just a big part of the game to be as a new character, but towards everyone in this game, and to think that she is useful, she is not that needed. I hope I helped you guys a lot with the changes from last video towards her dual wielding style. I mean, we have seen dual wielding characters, but I thought we have not. I mean, it was supposed to be a joke, but it did not work. So I'm really that bad and cringe. You don't really need to know. Wow, is it me or did I come in at the best time possible? The moon is with Celestia's island. That is really, really cool, honestly. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, or maybe even comment anything about this video. If you guys need help with this video, or maybe even your account, I will try to answer you as fast as possible. And that's the only thing I really do. Also, tell me if you guys like this patch anyways. I don't like it myself sometimes, but I also like how the characters are made. Sxyrax out. Bye-bye.